What's up, everybody? Fortnite Chapter 5 is here! We have new weapons, new mythics, and even weapon mods! So what the heck do we do with all this? Let's figure all that out, including which assault rifle is the best, which mods you should use, and of course come up with the best zero build loadout for the first part of the underground season. So we finally got weapon mods, but our versions don't have the pros and cons like in other games. Except the scopes. I think there are trade-offs there, but we'll get to that shortly. 4 types of attachments. We have the optics, magazine, underbarrel, and barrel. Not all guns can use all of them, and mythic weapons have bacon mods you cannot change. First set of attachments is optics, which are your scopes, and here's where the trade-off happens with snipers. Magnification versus glare. In this clip here, I had a hollow scope, so I couldn't get a real good look at the player, but they couldn't see that I had a sniper either. Got him knocked. Oh dude, did you see that? Second set is magazine, pretty easy here, bigger size or faster reloading. Third is underbarrel, which focuses on ADS and hipfire improvements. Last group is the barrel for suppression and recoil reduction. As we go through the loadout, I will give you the mods I think are the best for each one. So first big question is, of course, which assault rifle to use? Or maybe there are 2 questions. Do we even need an assault rifle? Can the sniper replace it? My answer is no, it cannot. While the Reaper Sniper is an absolute beast, it's not as effective in the closer ranges. And with ARs being projectile this season, usage becomes more about those ranges, kinda like OG season. Snipers for the longest distances, shotties and SMGs for short, and of course AR for medium. And I am going with the Striker, by the way. You all had a tough time deciding this as well. Look how close his voting is. But the Striker has less recoil. I know we can counter that with mods, but the Nemesis will still have more kick. I guess if you have one with the right mods and you can't find a striker with them or a bench, you'll run it. Like I always say, I ain't kicking a Nemesis out of bed for eating crackers. But optimally, go with the striker. It's also good in team modes to get snipers to back off a little. Give them some spray and make them get cover. Those bullet traces are intimidating. And keep the medallions in mind too. In longer range fights, how much of an advantage is 5 more shield damage when someone can regen it behind cover in a few seconds? For mods, I think the Hollow 13 optic is the way to go here. The 2x and 4x scopes work against you in shorter ranges. Laser for increased hipfire, and muzzle brake to reduce the recoil. Now on to the shotguns. Hammer pump or the frenzy auto. Or should we just be real here and call it a new drum shotty? It has a 2.5 fire rate, a smaller mag, and a slower reload, but it's still a drum, and now top players are recommending it. And you all in my community love it as well, as we can see by the poll results. But I'm still going with the hammer pump for that first best loadout of Chapter 5 though, and here's why. I like being a contrarian. Seriously though, the highest percentage of shots are always at the closest ranges. So missing those shots while relying on the opponent to miss as well is probably not going to go well.
Not a great plan.
This is something I noticed last season with the old school drum. If my shots are off, that fire rate was still not enough to take somebody down. Too many pellets missed. Plus we have the Striker set up for the swap roll, and it will do that just fine. So running a slower firing pump is not a negative at all. It also doesn't require an SMG in the swap roll either. The Hyper is the most useful one if you do want to roll with an SMG, by the way. Stay away from the Thunderburst. That mechanic is always too slow for zero build. One other note about SMGs, I am not sure if they are projectile as well, so, be leery of that. For mods, I suggest the same ones for whichever shotgun you roll with. Speed mag for faster reload times with the shotguns because they are ridiculously slow this season. Laser is the best underbarrel here, and I don't think you need any optics or barrel mods. I mean, I guess you can mod it out for ADSing if you wanted to. Or just get the mythic pump. Third slot has to be the Reaper Sniper, arguably the best of its kind ever in Fortnite. Like to the point where it's mandatory. Even players who don't snipe are doing it. Evolve Jake and Prospering are sniping, and they're super aggro zero build players. They never snipe. It's the next big thing, baby! And the Reaper Sniper covers the long range fights too, because even with mods, the assault rifles are not as good there. The Reaper is hands down the king. For mods, definitely want to run with drum mag for 2 extra bullets per, angled foregrip so you can get the ADS faster for a quicker snipe, and muzzle brake to cut down on the recoil. What about the optics? Initially, I preferred the Hollow 13 because it has no glare, but there's hardly any magnification either. it's not a good trade-off. I think a 2 or 4x scope is better than no glare. Your preference for 2 or 4 is up to you, of course. The medallions kind of tease you in the health and shield department. But unless you have 3 or more of them, or you got some time on your hands, because we all have that in a battle royale, right? Right? Unless you have those conditions, shields are still going to be needed. Even 2 medallions are only 4 regen a second. Do you have 25 seconds?
Well, do you, punk?
Thankfully, fish are back, so they are the numero uno heal/shield item. And finally, we have the good old utility slot. Pretty easy one this time around, run mobility. Shockwaves have all that versatility versus a wonky grappler. Although you can grapple onto someone and pull yourself to them, so there is that. But you can't grapple someone into the storm, or out of a bush, etc, etc. You could go with the new G-Wagons for mobility too. Then you could run the Clingers or the Shield DMPs to deal with those pesky vault campers. Or use a new ballistic shield. Just watch your toes. There we go, peeps, the first optimal loadout for Chapter 5.0 build. Striker AR, Hammer Pump, Reaper Sniper, Shockwaves, and of course heals and shields. Don't forget to like, next video coming right up.